I was a trusted servant of Pharaoh, the cupbearer. My duty was simple yet critical. I ensured that every drink that touched his lips was safe. It was an honorable position, a sign of Pharaoh's trust in me, but trust can crumble quickly, can't it? One moment you're in the palace and the next you're cast into the darkness of a prison cell. I don't know what I did to offend Pharaoh. Maybe it was a mistake, a misunderstanding, or maybe someone whispered lies in his ear. All I know is that I was thrown into prison and I shared that space with men who had fallen from similar heights. Men like the baker. The days were long and heavy, but then something strange happened. A young Hebrew named Joseph was brought into the prison. There was something different about him, a calmness, a confidence that didn't belong in a place like that. He served us, tended to our needs. And then came the night of my dream. I saw a vine full of life with 3 branches. As I watched, it blossomed, its flowers turning to ripe clusters of grapes. I held Pharaoh's cup in my hand and pressed the grapes into it, offering it to him. The dream was so vivid, so real. I told Joseph about it, unsure what it could mean. Listened carefully, and then he told me, the 3 branches are 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your position. You will place Pharaoh's cup in his hand, just as you used to do. I wanted to believe him. His words were so sure, so certain. Then he added something, just a small request. He said, when it goes well with you, remember me, show me kindness, mention me to Pharaoh and get me out of this prison. I nodded, of course, how could I not? 3 days later, Pharaoh celebrated his birthday, and, just as Joseph said, I was summoned. My heart pounded as I stood before Pharaoh. Then he spoke the words I had longed to hear. I was restored. My position was mine again. The nightmare was over. I placed the cup in his hand once more, just as I had done so many times before. But I forgot Joseph. I don't know why. Maybe it was the joy of my restoration, the relief of escaping that terrible place. Maybe it was fear of bringing up a prisoner before Pharaoh. Whatever the reason, days turned to weeks, weeks to months, and I said nothing. I left him there, in that pit, forgotten. It wasn't until Pharaoh was troubled by dreams no one could explain that I remembered Joseph. I told Pharaoh about the young Hebrew who had interpreted my dream,